One of my good friends bought me a hat once, and the hat says, "Failure is an option." And I love it. I wear it a lot, particularly when I'm meeting with our team here at Strong Towns or others, because failure is an option. And guess what? Many times failure is a good option. If you fail in the right way, it gives you knowledge and feedback and understanding that you can then use to avoid larger mistakes. We all know this. We all understand this. If we all look back at our own lives, at our own experiences, everyone will say, well, we learn from our failures, right? We learn from our mistakes. And the most successful among us make our mistakes early and small so that we can use those life lessons to go on and do greater things. It's no different for a city. It's no different for a municipality. I want to give you an example from the private sector side, because businesses do a really good job at this. The ones that have been around a long time don't go out and launch a brand new product, right? A brand new offering. Here's our brand new line of something we've never tried before. Nobody does that, right? What they do is they prototype things. Think of even like Google, right? We're going to release a new version of Gmail. What do? They go out and they say, all right, we're going to find 1,000 people and we're going to invite them to come in and try this new version. And they don't ask them like, did you like it or not? What they do is they actually observe, how do they use it? Were they enjoy? Did they spend a lot of time on it? Did they like it? Did their actions in response to the changes we made work out the way we thought they would? They then take that information and they use that very small test to make adjustments and changes. And then they'll roll it out to 10,000 people. And they'll go through the same kind of process. And then they'll roll it out to 1,000,000 people. And they'll go through the same kind of process. And then they'll make it the standard way they do things. They prototype up, right? Let's think about a city. We're going to go out and we're going to do something innovative. We're going to go out and we're going to fix our main street. What do? Well, the first thing we do is we hire an outside consultant and we come in and we have a study done of all the different options and things other places have done. And someone else has got to do this before we do, because otherwise it'd be really scary. So assure us that other places have done this and have been successful. Assure us that you've been through this before and know what you're doing. So give us all these other examples. Then put together a big report for us. Then we're going to have meetings and committees and hash it over. And ultimately, we're going to have a big project that what we call the least dumb thing that consensus will give us. This is not the way to innovate. This is not the way to do something new. This is not the way to do something challenging. There's a movement that's been around for a while now called tactical urbanism. It is an approach to taking the prototyping mentality and putting it to work in a city. Instead of spending 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 on consultants to come in and do a theoretical study and go through the process and the meetings and get, some type of feedback on what you're doing, go do a prototype. We have seen places from Times Square to little local streets go out and take materials that they had on hand, and for a fraction of the cost of studies and in a fraction of the time, go out and prototype what this would look like. If you're looking at, for example, narrowing up a street and getting rid of one of your lanes, go out and take cones and do it temporarily. See what happens. What happens to the traffic flow? Don't do a model of what will happen to the traffic flow. Go out and do it with cones, right? If you are interested in widening out your sidewalks and seeing, go out and do it with paint and cones and straw bales and see what will happen. We're thinking about putting a little bulb out in here, but we'll go out and do it temporarily. Like, you can do that with a fraction of the money and actually see in real time what will happen. And not only that, but you'll actually get real legitimate public feedback. Instead of even asking people theoretically at a meeting, please show up and come to our meeting and tell us what you think. You'll actually go out and do it and have them experience it in real time. And you can observe how they react to it. Do they like it? Does it work? Does it solve a problem? Does it make something else worse? In Times Square in New York City, there was this long running discussion of, can we eliminate some of these lanes and make Times Square into a plaza that will have all kinds of people in? And there were people strong on both sides. No, this can never happen. Yes, what needs to happen tomorrow. And all the stakes were really, really high because it was proposed as like a permanent all or nothing change. And then the tactical urbanists got involved. And what they did is they went out with paint and with big planters. And for a tiny fraction of the total cost of the big change, they did it temporarily. And they showed how you can transform a public space with pennies on the dollar. It's never gone back. In fact, what happened is that New York City has made that permanent and then has been extending that process of iterating and testing out and trying things all the way down Broadway. We see small cities doing the same things on their street improvements. These are things that we can do for pennies on the dollar. We can use professionals, but we don't have to. And we find that we get much, much better feedback when we do these types of little bets, these types of experimentations as part of our ongoing process. I'm going to encourage you to think big, but iterate down to the next incremental step. What is the thing we can do today with the materials we have on hand, with the stuff we have on hand, to prototype this vision and to test out our thoughts and our ideas and our assumptions and make sure that it will work, that we know what we're doing and that this is the step we want to take before we do something more permanent. That's what a bottom-up revolution looks like. That's what a strong town looks like.